games. It's ScrubGames. Double up. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames.
How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have a new Deck of the Week video where I go over a list that I've been enjoying for the past week. And this one is Double Yellow Thrawn, and that's right, that's the Yellow Thrawn from set 1. It hasn't seen much play, or hasn't really seen much. It had a bit of a hard control kind of start, but then just fell off, and it really hasn't seen really any or very little play since. But with a new card from the new set that can make use of as effect to look at some kind of your player's deck, gives way to try out something different, try out something interesting. So if you're interested, then stay tuned. If not, fair enough. But remember, you can also always like, comment, and subscribe. Keep updated with my videos as and when they drop by clicking that notification bell. As well, you can get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or later time to suit you best. As we are on our way to 2,000 subs, we are, as of recording, 32 away, so if you can help out, that'd be great. And if you have already subscribed, then thank you very much. So let's get into it and understand this Double Yellow Thrawn list. So just briefly, we're gonna just quickly show the list. So this is the list we're gonna go over in detail about like the card choices and things out. Even got a sideboard because even though it's a casual deck, so I don't see it being super highly competitive. But if you want to like and try and do well, then maybe you want to use a sideboard. And the sideboard I've got, but this is the list. So we're using that Bat Village as our base, along with Grand Admiral Thrawn to have a bit of consistency, because that way you get to see, you don't have a mulligan, but you see more cards and make your deck a bit more consistent, so you can kind of pull off the better plays. So this is the list. Now let's get into understanding about the card choices. So here we have Admiral Thrawn. So this is the leader. So on both sides, when he's in the leader area or when he's deployed, he's got an effect where when the action phase starts, you get to look at the top card of each player's deck. So you get a look at so only you get to, not your opponent. You get a look at the top card of your deck, then have a look at the top card of your opponent's deck as well, so you know what their next card is and what your next card is. And that's really handy because it comes in useful for his effect, which is it's the same on both sides, but there's a bit more of a cost or condition for when you fulfill it. So when he's in the lead area, you need to pay 1 and tap him to then reveal the top card of any player's deck, yours or your opponent's, and then exhaust. And you can exhaust a card that costs, well, exhaust a unit that costs the same as the revealed card. So if it's the same as or less than the cost of the card, you get exhausted. So you get to hopefully have different costs, so you can exhaust something. And then on the leader side, when you do deploy him, so now you don't have a cost to it. Well, you don't have a cost in terms of like resources, but now it's just when you attack, you can do the same thing, build a top card of a player's deck, and it's also a unit that costs the same or is less than a rebuild card. It's a nice way to kind of hold out, stall a little bit, and hold things down, which could be very, very handy. So that's essentially with the leader. You get the aspects as well from it. You don't really benefit from the traits. It's more that effect to look at the top card of each player's deck at the start of the action phase. So now we know the leader, let's have a look and see the reason why we got this deck. So the reason why we're using this leader and this aspect combination of double yellow, which is not something you see often, like most time you saw double yellow, it was with well, it could be with Kazuda, but then it was mostly with Han, set 1 Han going double yellow, but that was before where DJ got banned. Now the reason we're playing double yellow is the Zuckuss here. So the Zuckuss is a brand new legendary and a very cheap one, so if you don't want to play this deck, it's very cheap to pick up this Zuckuss. I think it's only like £1 in the UK, or like €1 or a bit more in the EU. And this is a 5-cost double yellow aspect card. It has 4 power and 7 health, has force and bounty hunter trait, and it's got an effect which is what makes use of Thrawn. Because it's on attack, you name a card, so any card in the game, then discard the top card of the dependent player's deck. If a card with the name is discarded, this card gets plus 4 power for this attack. So that means unless you're playing Thrawn, you're essentially naming a card, unless you've had some way to check your opponent's top deck, which I don't think there's many ways to do that. And if you get it right, you get an extra +4 power. Meaning he swings for 8. You can even get in the swing for 9 if you're using Forearm as well, which also gives him ambush. So that's the reason we've gone for this, because it's something different to try. Like, I know people have been trying Thrawn with the As I Have Foreseen, which if you get a certain card on top of your deck and a resource, you can actually play out some stronger things a lot earlier using the Force. This one relies less on seeing what's on top of your deck to maybe play out cheaper, and instead knowing what's on top of your opponent's deck so you can get full value out of its swing. So we've got double yellow because, well, we need to go double yellow to play him without incurring pass penalty, because I don't really want to pay 7 for this. But 5 is not too bad because of things like Naldor, Totem, and other cards to help out. And it essentially plays a Bounty Hunter Underworld core, so you can play this in hand, but with Thrawn, you get the benefit of making sure you can trigger this effect unless your opponent changes at the top card of the deck by drawing or anything like that, or smuggling. So that is the reason. Now let's look at some other cards in the deck as well. So first of all, we got the turn 1 units. So we got Bazine, Natal, FORESEEING, Zagirian Starhopper, and Scrafty Smuggler. Now these are all good for certain situations, and make sure we've got a good turn 1 play, because with Nabat Village we're not going to have a mulligan. We want to make sure we do open with at least 1 turn 1 play. As long as we're on that, we're fine. And also make it so we know how to combo for when we want to do certain things. So we got Bazine as something you can always smuggle if you are like stuck with something you want to resource, or be able to use it later, because you can always resource it and use it later thanks to smuggle. And it's a nice way to like corrupt the opponent's hand by making sure you can look at their hand, have that hand knowledge of what they have, and then ditch a card that you don't want them to have, and you know what they're going to draw into. Or if you know they draw into something you don't want them to have, you can also, after they've drawn into it from their turn, you can then play this out to ditch it and make them draw something else that you know they're going to have. So having absolute knowledge of information as well is pretty useful. Then for other turn 1 units, we have Zagirian Starhopper for our space arena. So it's a 2-cost 2/3. It's not too bad because when defeated, it does 2 indirect damage to a player, so you can choose it to your opponent, do 200 damage to them. And also is a very handy one, because remember, you can't just ignore space because of like Vader decks. You need to be aware of those and have stuff to combat them. And then for our ground unit, we have FORESEEING and Crafty Smuggler. Now out of these two, FORESEEING is better for the combo to get Zuckuss out turn 2. We've got Crafty Smuggler as an additional one, being a 2-cost 2/2 shielded, which is pretty handy. But for FORESEEING, she's a 2-cost 1/4, so better stats than we've usually had. 4 health is a lot better, and also hidden is handy, so she can be attacked the same time she's played. And she's got raid 2, so she's going to hit harder, but when she's attacked into, she isn't going to hit hard that hard in retaliation with only 1 power. But those are our turn 1 unit. So on to turn 2, we have Boba Fett, Contracted Jumpmaster, and Miss Hunter as our turn 2 units. So we got Boba Fett as a very good turn 2 unit, a very good standard unit, very good stats for its cost. 3 cost, 3/5 is very good. So it's like the best you can get, really. And on attack, you can do 3 damage to a defender if they are exhausted and didn't enter play this round. So you can potentially do 6 damage to a unit, which means you can like trade up. So it's a legendary as well, but it's not too expensive as it was back in the like first set or second set. So it's a little bit cheaper to get, and also pretty cool. Then for the other 2, we have our space units. We have Contracted Jumpmaster as our Sentinel for space, a 3-cost 2/4, helpful to defend your base or protect your base from Vader decks, because remember you can't ignore space. And Miss Hunter is a very nice one, solid stats at 3-cost 3/4, and it's got a way to draw you more cards by on attack. If you played a Bounty Hunter or Pilot card this phase, you can draw a card. So very handy, and we do have a Pilot, and we do have a fair few Bounty Hunters like Boba here, and Bazine, well not Bazine, FORESEEING, so you can always get that draw when you need to be, and you know what you're going to draw, so if you know if you really want it, you can get it if you want to. Then for our turn 3 units, we've got Forlom and Jabba the Hutt. Now Forlom is a very beneficial one, because it's a way to give Zuckuss ambush. It's a 4-cost 4/4, so very solid stats as it is. Ambush on itself, and then for each friendly Zuckuss, so we've got 2 different Zuckuss in the deck, they gain an extra 1/1 to the stats and ambush, so this helps power up some of your bigger hitters. And also be able to use this to give Zuckuss ambush means it come down ambush, which is really good to get its effect straight away, and also then swing for 9 because you get +1/1 from Zuckuss, so it come down as a 5/8 and then extra 4 if you can name the top of your deck, which you should be able to thanks to Thrawn. So really handy card there. And also there's sometimes where you can get out Zuckuss on turn 2, and this on the turn after the ambush, and then makes Zuckuss stronger to hit for 9 at whatever you want, base or a unit. Then you have Jabba for an alternative thing you can play on turn 3, and then we end up 2 copies of this because it's a nice little searcher, bulky, but it doesn't do too much, but it helps get us more cards and help us play a game and like win as easily as possible. 4 costs 2/8, so big bulky, so it's going to be harder to get off the board, and makes all your trick events cost 1 less, and that's very handy because we've got quite a few. But you got to do remember with trick events that you can also search them, because you've got when played, look at the top 8 cards of your deck for a trick event, reveal it and draw it. Now do remember when using this, you got to think about how many tricks you've got in your deck, so you need to know how many tricks you've got in your deck in general. You got to know how many trick events you've already used, how many you have in hand, and how many you've resourced, because that's going to impact and lower the amount you have in your deck. So it's because while top 8 is quite a few, it's not always enough. So those are our turn 3 units, and on turn 4 we've got our other ones you can play along with the Zuckuss as well, which is our other Zuckuss. So this one's a 5 cost 6/6, so a bit stronger but not as bulky, and also has Saboteur, so it can ignore shields and sentinels, defeat shields and ignore sentinels. And this one powers up Forlom, so it's like a dual team with Forlom, where Forlom powers up Zuckuss, Zuckuss powers up Forlom, because this gives Forlom extra 1/1 like how Forlom does it to Zuckuss, but this gives it Forlom Saboteur, so together they give each other Ambush and Saboteur and extra 1/1 to the stats. Now for Boba, he's a nice handy pilot that can help make your Contractor Jump Master a little bit more bulky and stronger, so that way you can defend it easier, or even your Miss Hunter, make it harder to remove, so that way you can keep getting the benefits. Because you can either play this as a ground unit, as a 5 cost 5 forward shield, which is handy, or pilot it for 2 on an upgrade on a vehicle, and when you do 1 damage to a unit, but if it's a transport you can deal 2 damage instead, which it most likely will be. And it gives a 2/3 buff to the vehicle it's put on, so making turning Jump Master into a 2/4, well, from a 2/4 to a 4/7 is very handy, especially on a Sentinel. Now our last unit we've got is the classic Cad Bane, our 7 cost unit, 7/7. When played, you can capture up to 3 enemy units with a total health cost combined between them of 8 or less, and 8 or less remaining HP. And then on attack, your opponent can get one of those cards back, but if they do, then you get to draw 2 cards, so that way to draw more and hit hard as well. Very handy card. And we've got Hotshot Blaster being an honorary cannon card, because while it's a red card, aggression card, it's mainly going to be a cunning card, because you're always going to resource it, so you can smuggle it out, so you can get 2 actions in 1, which is great action efficiency, and it's a lot better than just paying out of aspect just to put it on and do 2 actions to do what you can do in 1. Because it costs 2 more from the smuggle, since it's a smuggle 3 for cunning, but then when you smuggle out you get the attack straight away, so you get the buff up unit by 2 power and attack straight away, which is very useful, can help you win games too. So with that out of the way, with all the units and the 1 upgrade, let's have a look at the events. So we run 5 events, and these are the first 3. These are more of our these are our tricks. So these are the ones we can look for with Jabba, and then be able to use a little bit cheaper. So McClunky is a 1 cost, but you can potentially play it for free thanks to Jabba. And whereas Waylay and now there are 2 of them, you can pay for 2 instead of 3 with Jabba. So they're very handy. So McClunky is a 1 cost that allows you to return a friendly non-leader underworld unit back to his owner's hand, and if you do, deal 3 damage to the unit. So basically, get back a unit that's damaged or close to death to bounce back, reuse again, or like a card you want to reuse the 1 played of Villainy, and then deal 3 damage to a unit and maybe finish something off. You got Waylay, which is temporary removal, which allows you to just bounce back any non-leader unit back to his owner's hand. So you pays all the resources for a turn. That unit you bounce it straight back for hopefully less than they've paid, and less than what they've paid for their unit, which is be very handy and very devastating in some situations. And you got now there are 2 of them, which is a great way to help you get Zuckuss out on turn 2, and is why we play in the Bat Village, because while it does take away your mulligan, it actually looks at 9 cards overall instead of just 6. So you can hopefully get your combo out. And the nice thing about Thrawn is that when you go to use the effect in the Bat Village to put the 3 of your cards to the bottom of your deck, you get to look first at the top card of each player's deck to see what you're going to draw into. So if any of those cards you're going to put back is on the top card of your deck, you can simply put it down, then you get another copy from the top. And it's a very nice card because it helps you get a Zuckuss on turn 2 because it's a free cost event where if you control exactly one unit, which you will do after turn 1, you can play a non-vehicle unit from your hand that shares a trait with the unit you control, and it costs 5 less. Essentially, you play out FORESEEING turn 1, then turn 2 you play another 2 of them. They go, alright, for FORESEEING I can play either a Bounty Hunter or Underworld card, so I'm going to pay nothing to play out this Zuckuss Bounty Hunter for free. Which means you can then, the turn after, play Forlom to come down ambush and power up for Zuckuss, so he swings for 9 on his next swing, which is very, very strong. Could help very well to be very aggro, get the game off going, and that's probably like the best hand you can get. Now for our events, we've got Surprise Strike and Cunning. These are ways to buff up the power units, so you can hit harder, so you can kind of win the game sooner. Surprise Strike for 2 lets you attack with a unit with extra free power for that attack, whereas Cunning offers you multiple effects and are all very useful. So you can use any 2 of them in any order. So you can either return a non-leader unit with 4 less power to his owner's hand. You can either give one of your units, well, a unit, but most likely your unit, 4 extra power, or you can exhaust 2 units, so tap them to your opponents, or make your opponent discard a random card from hand, so a bit of hand control there. So very useful. I think we've got both of these at 3 because they're very, very strong. I don't know, at least Cunning, I can't remember for Surprise Strike, but they're very useful to help you buff up your units to hit for more and overpower your opponent, so hopefully win the game quicker. So that is the main deck. Now I do have a side deck, so we'll quickly go over that. So if you are interested in playing this, maybe you haven't taken side deck to kind of try and play and win your locals, you can kind of go and do that. But we're going to go over the side deck quickly and see what we've got. So for the side deck, this is what I've got to help out and kind of, well, basically just add into what we've already got and help us deal with some of the meta stuff. Now, when I first built this is before the Galactic Championship, so and that could skew it a bit, but this is just what I've got. Remember, for side decks, they can always be amended. They're just mainly for a player preference to side deck. It's what you prefer as a player to put in to help you, and sometimes it might be different. It might be some preferences you have over someone else's idea. So basically amend it if you want to. So what we've got Sidun. If you haven't, we got Sidun, we got Bodhi, we got Boba, No Good to Be Dead, Bamboozle, and Change of Heart. So these are the 6 cards I've got on my side deck, and I'm going to go over each one and explain why we've got it in here. So for Sidun and Boba Fett, these are combined together because they're here to deal with space aggro decks, space focus decks, mainly like Vader. Because Sidun is really handy. He's a 2-cost unit, 2/2. When you play as a unit, you can attach it as an upgrade as a unit. When you can attach this unit as an upgrade on an enemy vehicle without a pilot, and he's just like Perilous Mission, where he gives minus stats to that unit. So he gives a minus power, -2 power, -2 health. Help you take things out. It'll be very handy, especially if your opponent plays a tier 1 unit that has only 2 health. You can go play this, kill it, because it have 0 health and it die. And Boba Fett is one if you feel you need extra Boba Fett to help make your basically put in space units to help like for constructed lightsaber. No, not constructed lightsaber. Contracted jump master to help it may get a bigger boost. I'm not likely to get this, so you can boost up the turn after and have it defend easier. It's better to have an extra copy, so that's why I've got a 2nd copy of this and 2 copies, I think, of Ifano. So those ones to help with space aggro. Now we've got Bodhi, and this is to help against those more controlling decks, because you still got some hard control decks that want to just mainly use events to just control the game and move you out and grind it out and make it so you have the least fun possible. Now I do like those decks, but going against them, it can be a bit annoying. So we've got 2 copies of Bodhi Rook to help come down, play some more things out, and kind of rip out some of those cards, a bit of hand control against them, so they can lose cards while they're trying to use cards to kind of stop you from killing them. Next we've got No Good to Be Dead. I think we got 2 copies of this. I think we got 2 copies of this, and this is to help you lock down leaders, because being double yellow, you don't have the easiest way outside of dropping a Zuckuss down with ambush thanks to Forlom already being on board, then swing it for 9 and take out mostly any leader that comes down before, well, very late in the game. And this is a way to lock it down and either deal with it later or just lock it off so you can kind of hold off and take a bit of time to think. Because I lock it down for 2 turns, being the turn they deploy it, and also the turn after as well, because it keeps it locked down 2 turns. Or you can use it on every units that you kind of want to stop from attacking, or just keep out the way until you have a way to deal with them. We got Bamboozle as well, and this is a never unit. This is a card you can play for free as well, thanks to us being double cunning. You can always use it. And this is a way to help deal with those pilot leaders like Vader. Very handy, more help for that. And also just to tap things down without using resources to prevent, so you can still play at whatever you wanted to play originally. This is pretty handy because you can play the Cost by the Sky and Never cunning card, which we've got loads of. And exhausts, and even knocks off some upgrades as well back to your opponent's hands. If you want to, your opponent starts buffing up something huge, you want, okay, I want to build that, you got to rest it, knock all back the upgrades. Maybe you can take it out now that you haven't upgraded it, or even just put it back behind a turn and make him waste a turn, essentially. The last one we've got is Change Parts. So this is a very handy card where if you come to the late game, it can help you finish off by taking your opponent's big units. If they got a huge unit, that is how to do it. Like, they got a Crate Dragon, maybe take the Crate Dragon at the start of their turn so you can attack with it. And now, while you'll take 6 damage still, because you've paid this to take the Crate Dragon, you'll then have a Crate Dragon to swing for 10, and also make it so now they'll take damage anytime that you play anything for this turn, thanks to you having that crate. And also just taking any other unit to kind of finish off, which can be very, very handy. So it's a way to kind of take some of your opponents so you can finish them off when they've put out something that you can't really deal with. And that is it. So hopefully that's helped you out with the side deck. If you want to change it up, feel free to do so, but that's just hopefully it's helped you understand why I've got certain cards in there. Then you can test it a bit. I've tested it a fair amount, and it is a lot of fun. Like, there's only one, like, there's a lot of games where I've had like a great turn of being able to drop Zucker's turn 2, and those are some of the better games. So hopefully that's interesting to you. If you do want to try it, feel free to do so. The description, well, the link to the deck list is in the description below, so you can go ahead and try it out if you want to. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you've got any suggestions, or if you have any opinions on the list. I'd be happy to hear. And I'll catch you next one. Bye for now.